Africa has shown the most improvement in the World Economic Forum's Travel and Tourism Development Index performance since 2019. The report released earlier this week revealed that South Africa was ranked 55th among 119 countries and emerged as the leading country in the rankings for the African continent, measured by the set of factors and policies that enable the sustainable and resilient development of the travel and tourism sector. This comes on the heels of the latest edition of Africa's Travel, Indaba, one of the largest tourism marketing events on the African calendar. It is known for its global significance, attracting thousands of participants, including exhibitors from various African nations and international buyers. Our colleague here, Arise international correspondent, Seyitan Atigarin, was in attendance and turned in this report.
This is KwaZulu-Natal, the heart of African tourism and home to Africa's Travel, Indaba, the largest travel trade show on the continent, celebrating its diverse and vibrant tourism industry. Welcome to Africa's Travel Indaba, an iconic African leisure trade show owned by South African Tourism with the specific objective of creating market access for their vast array of African leisure tourism products. This year, we're seeing the introduction of countries like Burkina Faso and Guinea attending for the first time and exhibiting. Now, this trade show exists to provide the ideal platform for African tourism exhibitors to showcase their offerings to not just local buyers, but international buyers as well, destination marketing companies and leisure tourism service partners. Africa's Travel Indaba is more than just a trade show. It is an iconic event with a mission to create market access for Africa's vast array of leisure tourism products over 3 dynamic days. Speaking at the opening of the event in Durban, South African Tourism Minister Patricia de Lille emphasized the urgent need to improve air connectivity in Africa and around the world, noting joint efforts with African counterparts to address the continent's travel challenges and tourism development.
The theme of the Africa Travel Indaba this year is Unlimited Africa. And this speaks to our unlimited potential because our continent boasts diverse landscape, cultures, and experience that offer limitless possibilities for exploration and growth. The theme affirms that Africa is not confined by boundaries, but its expansive offerings, endless opportunities for discovery and innovation in the tourism sector. While we invest in tourism offerings, it is also important to ensure that we make it easier for travelers to reach their destinations, as referred to also by our Honourable Premier. Air access is one of South Africa's critical areas where a significant amount of work needed urgently to improve air access in Africa and for the rest of the world to connect to Africa. This is why yesterday, together with my fellow ministers from the continent and captains of the global aviation industry, we engage in a dialogue around improving air access in the African Ministers' Dialogue. One of the participants said, it's easier to travel and connect Africa with the world, but it's much more difficult to travel within Africa.
From provincial authorities to game lodges, transport services to luxury products, there is an impressive array of exhibitors attracting a range of visitors, including tour operators and airline managers, all looking for the best tourism products Africa's Travel Indaba has to offer.
Our biggest mandate is destination marketing, so it's marketing from A to Z. And some of the initiative that we do, especially around Africa Travel Indaba, is the hostings of the tourism buyers. I mean, we've got the whole world here. It makes sense for us to actually show them, and so they can taste what KwaZulu-Natal can offer, because at the end of the day, we want to be packaged as one of the best destinations in the world.
From bush to beach to the Drakensberg Mountains, which is very popular globally because it's a World Heritage Site. We also have Isimangaliso Wetland Park, which is another World Heritage Site. And we have got the Big Five experience. We've got hiking routes. We've got beautiful cuisine that we serve when you visit our parks. We've got beautiful experiences throughout KZN, which is the province that we are at, also called the Zulu Kingdom.
We are here to promote our own product, Kenya Airways, because our mission, part of our mission is connecting Africa to the world and the world to Africa. And being based in Nigeria, we've invested daily flights in and out of Lagos and to South Africa, which is one of our biggest destinations from the Nigerian market. Indeed, we see it as an important thing to be here in order to broaden the partnerships that we can potentially have from here.
It was like onion, and you keep peeling, and then you keep on wrapping and saying things that you've never seen before. So for me, it's more of what can I offer the people back home.
It is so rich in experience that I would want every African to travel to South Africa and KZN and experience it all.
KwaZulu-Natal is not just a host, it's an experience. One which I was able to immerse myself in its rich history as I discovered the vibrant Zulu culture, indulged in the local cuisine, and explored the natural wonders that make this region a true gem.
One of the many activities that you can do in South Africa, of course, as a tourist, is going water tubing. The first set of people just came in and I'm about to go on and try it. Guys, wish me luck. But first off, this wig has to go off. Let's go. We're going on water, of course, and what is the most important thing when you're going on water? Safety. You gotta put on that life jacket because there's a possibility that you could fall into the water. That's not my plan today though. I plan to stay on the tube for as long as possible. Thank you so much for setting me up, and I think we are ready to go.
I'll take the book. Well, I can't explain anything.
Oh my God!
Well done, well done, well done.
Between January and March 2024, South Africa welcomed 1.8 million tourist arrivals from the rest of the African continent, marking a significant 74.5% of all arrivals. Zimbabwe and Ghana stood out for their remarkable growth, with Zimbabwe experiencing a 21.8% increase and Ghana recording a 249.4% surge when compared to 2023. The growth trend from West Africa being a direct result of the announcement of a visa waiver scheme on the 1st of November 2023, allowing Ghanaian and South African citizens to travel freely between both countries. But the question remains, when will Nigeria join this list? When will Africa experience visa-free travel within its borders? South African High Commissioner to Nigeria, Honorable Tami Msleku, shared his thoughts on the way forward.
One of the things that is interesting for me is that your new Minister of Interior, our Home Affairs, yes, has come in and said, the first objective I have is to actually ensure that the integrity of the documentation of Nigerians is actually enhanced. Yes. Why did he do that? Because he realized that all over the world, there is always a question mark about the documentation that people present. Yes. And so he needed to actually fix that. And he has actually been doing a wonderful job. I met him and we had a discussion about this, and I said, look, once we engage better, it will actually enhance the very issues that you are talking about. The fundamental issue is not just Nigerian, it's African, because we're trying to move to a free movement kind of issue. We need to ensure that all countries have an integrity in their documentation, their register system for citizenship and all kinds of things. So that if, for example, I am in Nigeria and I commit a crime, yes, I can actually be found in the system and followed. Yes. If you can't do that, then this thing of movement of people is not going to be very easy, because you have to be able to follow up who's going where and why, you know? So our approach to this matter is we work together to ensure that the deserving Nigerians actually find it easy.
The visa issue, I for one never shy away from acknowledging where we have challenges so that you can then deal with them. And you are right, it's a key enabler for tourism. So when you deal with that, you do see an influx of travelers to a country, and we've benefited in countries where, we don't have those challenges. And we work closely with our partners in the value chain as well as in government to fix the issues and the problems that we have, be it from a visa perspective, or we're talking airlift. And I know that, there are some concerns around safety and security. You've been in Durban for a few days and there's high visibility. And that for me demonstrates that we actually value our travelers.
If you look at the figures internationally, even IATA figures, you realize that Africa just has a little piece of whatever percentage of travelers. And population-wise, it's not like that. It means we have so much room to get our figures up. And part of the things we need to do is to have a visa-free, let's say visa-free continent, but that conversation is ongoing.
It's a ease, the ease of travel, ease of doing business, and, just make it one, borderless continent so that people can move freely. If people are able to move freely, there will be more trade, there will be more tourism, and there will just be an easy access for different people across the continent as a whole, just to go and come. And there's a lot to discover about Africa. So people don't really need to travel outside Africa before they get a decent holiday or a decent adventure or something that they will live, to remember for many years to come. So, we need to just make it one borderless continent. So because we're one after all, and then we need to keep doing this together.
Already now we have freedom, flight of freedom within several African destinations. So if SATIM is also on board, it will be seamless, whereby passengers don't need to have a visa to travel to any other part of Africa.
From here, we've been having discussions with the ministries and the authorities that are involved to just try and relax the visa restriction issues. If we are to promote Africa in general, we have to be able to visit each other's countries free.
Yeah. So you're saying, do you believe that as an African, there should be no barriers whatsoever? It should be visa-free for every African country?
Amen to that.
As this year's edition of Africa's Travel Indaba comes to a close, business opportunities and quality connections have taken root, shaping the future of Africa's tourism industry. From Durban, South Africa, Seyitan Atigarin, Arise News.
Fantastic reporting there, Seyitan. This is so fresh. We need to have these types of travel reports every weekend. Well done, really. But I really loved your your interviews with, especially all the ministers and commissioner. We heard from the Minister of Tourism at first, and she talked about the fact that, it is important to have an open sort of border for Africans to be able to travel freely, and, kind of reechoing what we've heard from, the chairman of Arise This Day Media Group, who's called for some, collaboration to have Africans have access to, trade and development. We have to have some sort of open border. Even Aliko Dangote recently made the same assertion to make sure that, we have this sort of arrangement where there's, the theme is Unlimited Africa, where there is, unlimited access to African, be it tourism, be it infrastructure, be it loans, be it, entertainment. It is important that we are able to travel within, our countries.
Yes, definitely. Really. I think it's important. It's a beautiful report. I love the sights and sounds, particularly the South African music. I thought that was amazing. And the wildlife. It kind of shows that, beyond just sharing culture and improving trade, like intra-trade, that we are also, we have so much to offer as Africans, and most importantly, offer ourselves. I think, the High Commissioner, I believe that you start with, said that our internal activities affects how we're perceived internationally, being able to track crime or criminals within Nigeria. And, he spoke about the Interior Minister saying that he was taking it seriously. And I think it shows how our internal policies affect our international reputation and our access to other African nations. But of course, I still think the South African ministry should be friendlier to us when they're offering us visas.
Yeah, I think that is the most important point you've made. the issue, I think South Africa is one of the hardest countries to get a visa. Isn't that, in Africa, isn't that true? What is your experience so far? I know that you didn't have such a bad experience because obviously you're going for this Indaba thing and African tourism. What has been your experience?
I know, not a personal experience. South Africa has always been difficult, maybe not too difficult for journalists, but I have a friend's recent experience sponsored by South African government, but he was still denied, visa, as preparatory activities towards the election. He was not going to go there as a journalist, but as a stakeholder, but he was still denied. But that's the general thing that you get in terms of access to visas and things like that. But Nigeria has always suffered that fate, sadly, with South Africa. And I listened carefully to what the High Commissioner said about what our interior minister is trying to do and what the government in general, should try to do. That's rather perfunctory, but I hope that, those in Nigerian authorities will do something about it. But for me, as the other angels have said, brilliant report. Indaba, has always been a go-to place. In those days when, some of us used to troop there, it was simply known as Indaba. And I think it was in 2017 or so that they transformed, to African Tourism Indaba. It's like our own, in Africa, our own WTM, World Trade Market, which holds every year in the UK, which is big. But the main point for me is not, I salute what South Africa is doing. And I can see that those who are serious about tourism, what they're trying to do. But it's obvious from your report that Nigeria was nowhere to be found.
Definitely.
Officially.
That was going to be, let me take off my my anchor hat and wear my correspondent hat now.
Okay.
That was going to be, what I was going to use to conclude this was the absence of Nigeria, at that event, because there were so many African countries and it was just so glaringly obvious. I mean, you still had Nigerians in pockets here and there, private individuals, but we didn't have the Nigerian government. I'm releasing an exclusive that I had like a sit down with the Minister of Tourism, where she did say that they actually extended an invitation to our Minister of Tourism wanting us to come for Africa's Travel Indaba, and she doesn't know why, we're not there. But then again, when we look at tourism and we see what South Africa has been able to do, and like you said, how serious they are, it's boosting their economy. Thousands of people came in. I think there were 1,245 exhibitors alone, talk less of the guests and the visitors that came in. Definitely, I feel I came out from this trip feeling so inspired, and I think that with everything, us complaining about the Nigerian economy and trying to get, some kind of refuge from either oil or other sectors in the economy, the tourism sector is one that should be looked at very well. And then very quickly to touch on the visa thing, I mean, everybody I asked, like, why don't we have visas? And they are working on it. I mean, it was easier for them to go with Ghana because they spoke about their credible authentication of, their credible identification. And a lot of Nigerians, I guess their experience with Nigerians that are already there, those Nigerians that have gone illegally. So there's still that trust deficit. But hopefully it's these kind of events and these kind of conversations arises in South Africa now. So a lot of South Africans will be seeing this, will foster that kind of visa-free and possibly one day a visa-free within Africa kind of, I guess, transportation or air travel.
Yes, absolutely. Just 2 quick points, to a cue behind what Seyitan said. I hope that the tourism minister for Nigeria is listening because, yes, she has been indisposed for a long while. She's back at work now, but it looks like she's not back at work. I think part of the reason why this current administration removed tourism from culture and information is to give it visibility like this. Absolutely. We're not getting that visibility.
It's been a year now.
Apart from a few states like Lagos, like Ekiti, like Cross River, who are trying to show a few things as far as tourism is concerned, Federal is almost dead in terms of tourism promotion. When last did you see the tourism minister with the key agency head or the key agency personnel in tourism, Nigerian Tourism Development Authority, where Folikoka is the
Steve,
DG.
You know
that this is my sector, and I feel bad about it.
Tinubu has said that he's going to look into.
This is not about performing minister. This is about ministry, and I'm saying the ministry has been created for. Every time you see the minister of culture travel with the president to Qatar, to Davos, your job is to promote, cultural activities. The person who will bring tourists to Nigeria and show them around is the one who is not following them anywhere, that they are going. And secondly, which is very important, OG, is this shows to people who think that we do not need a national carrier or a flag carrier. Tourism is all about indigenous, airline operation.
Can I ask if the ministers go on the delegation, is it the president that chooses his delegation or is it the minister?
I don't care. I'm just saying that.
You're talking to
absolutely,
and I hope
I'm saying that the ministry is failing.
You made a lot of important
points.
Seyitan, Atigarin, great reporting.
Absolutely.
We look forward to more
from that.